Thank you. Brother President of the University, Dr. Nelson, platform guest, and of course our dynamic lady for the day. As I sat and listened to everyone, and particularly the statement, welcoming statement of Dr. Nelson, reminding us of where we are today in this hall, and people that walked through this hall. It took me back to when I did the walk in here as a freshman student. And this one reminds me of so many things. But one that stands out is the Hall of Justice. In this hall, we stood for justice, we stood for equality, we stood for good governance. For me particularly, before coming here at the university, I struggled in lacking career advisors. I struggled on what to do upon graduation from high school. What did I want to do? And all that came to my mind was that I want to defend. I think everybody got it right. I want to be a lawyer. And then they told me, well, you can't be a lawyer until you get a discipline, you first finish college, and then go on to, and I kept asking, what is it should I do? I don't want to do business, no. I don't want to do science, no. What is it particularly that catches my passion, that will lead me to my passion? And somebody said, maybe we try political science. And sure enough, they explained to me what that was. I said, that's it, I'm going to do political science. And it's from here that I did get a degree in political science. And culminated into my passion, political science, governance, equality, accountability, justice. Over the years, it developed, went on to grad school, master's education, administration, and the whole rest of it. And of course, then we found ourselves out of the country, the war, and returning into 2003 after finally signing a peace accord in Accra, where I think at that time it reactivated my activism in Accra for peace. And what does peace mean? For the first time after many years of war, I realized that peace was not just the silence of the guns, but it also had to do with human security. But more particularly so, it brought me to a core realization that women and children were the most victimized during the time of the war. And we came back to Liberia in 2003. 2004, we saw the energy of a society of men and women pushing for peace, wanting peace. But in the midst of it all, it stood out that peace, yes, but women involvement, women bodily integrity, women needed to be protected, women needed to have a space, and there was so much violence that has been committed against women and girls that we need to integrate it within our governance structure. We need to not only create awareness, but bringing progress and policies to address the silent killer of women. The silent killer of women, sexual gender-based violence. And you all here today, I'm very happy and to hear our president also say to us, the university, that gender is now going to be integrated mainstreamed within the University of Liberia. That is commendable. Because when we talk about addressing issues of gender and gender-based violence, it comes with knowledge and it comes with commitment. Commitment to deliver, to teach, to change minds. Our speaker said mindset. To change the mindset. And to have gender integrated into our institutions is a plus, and I congratulate you. And I congratulate all of us. Sexual gender-based violence, sexual and gender-based violence. Oftentimes, is staring us in the face and has been declared a national emergency. I would say pandemic. What stares us in the face is rape. That's the one that's staring us. Domestic violence that leads to bodily harm and death. But rape takes us, when we talk about rape, you see it is so violent, it's so traumatic, it causes so much trauma. More than death itself, if we survive it. And it's touching our children. And so we talk about it, we see it. Now we see the political will, again, at the declaration of rape and SGBV as a national pandemic, deserving an emergency attention of nations and collective efforts of all of us. That is the highest political statement that our government has made, our president has made, President George Weah, on that account. Now I'll say collective, and the more the merrier. Ending rape and SGBV is not an event. It's definitely a process that begins and rises up to the highest level. Is it going to end overnight? No. But it requires our collective work. It requires a commitment from those of us who say we want to contribute in this way to addressing social ills. And of course, our government. That is the three branches of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, to have a commitment to ensure actions, tangible actions, to have a redress, to serve as a deterrent, and hopefully women and children can live peaceably in our nation without being afraid, without being humiliated, without being sexually violated. Now, rape and sexual violations, we see it is war. But what is silence, I take it to the next level that I see with this organization. SGBV, sexual and gender-based violence. Any violence perpetuated against a person because of their gender, of their sex. And it so happens that again, women take the face, the women and girls take the face of GBV. We don't think about sexual harassment. We don't think about sexual exploitation. We don't think about the abuses that happen in the private spaces, in our homes, in our churches, in our offices. So it's very important as we sit here today, as participants, men and women, sisters and brothers, parents, educators, under this program. It shows a will to work together to end, to fight sexual gender-based violence. And it's not only restricted to rape. And it calls for commitment. It calls for action. It calls for passion. I am so passionate. I've been passionate about women's rights, about justice, that I think being a defender of women's rights, being a promoter of peace, being a promoter of justice, being a promoter of accountability, all of us need to be committed and know that this pandemic, this fight against the bodies of women and children must come to an end. And our country, Liberia, will never go any further. We're not developing any way. It will only be superficial if we do not address violence against women, sexual gender-based violence. On that note, I'd like to say, we raise our voices, we fight, we speak, and we demand accountability. And we work towards ending SGBV. Collectively, holding barriers accountable. But not only to the barriers, ourselves accountable. What we say, how we see a woman, how we see a girl, the words that we use, the things that you believe are nothing to you as a man, or you don't even understand it. When she says stop, when she says your words are breaking me, when she says that when you tell her she cannot get a job until she succumbs to your wishes, when she's spending lies because she cannot give in, when you silence her by saying don't raise your voice because you're accusing someone, when nothing goes answer, she don't have the money to go to court, then you say the parents are compromising, when the parents are afraid, and the girl and the woman is afraid anyway. She doesn't have any money. The court process is very long. Then at the end of the day, we say, well, let her prove it. Or we say she lied. Or we say the family just want money. Or we say they compromised. Yes, all of these things she compromised, but why? So as we stay here today, under the invitation of this organization, I think it's laudable, it's applaudable, it is commendable that we see a Liberian woman. You just heard the board. If 75% of the board members are out of the country, that means that Liberians all over the world are looking and taking this thing seriously, as women as well as men. And their establishment today signifies their own determination, their own commitment to contribute to the development of Liberia, socially, economically. Because guess what? When the bodies are wounded, over 50% of the population of women, when they are wounded, their bodies are wounded, their minds are traumatized, and they are hurting, you're not going to get the best of it. Because mothers, women manage the home. The girls rise up and say, I'm hurting. And that hurt transcends to the generation upon generation. Because why? She is a carrier. She is a nurturer. And when she nurtures hurt, without even knowing it, when she nurtures hate, then we see the effect of it in our society, both economically. Sit here today to applaud and say, the more of us that come together to contribute, we stand together and we hold ourselves accountable. And we say, this is our way of moving Liberia forward. Because again, exists violence against women, sexual gender-based violence. The nation is not at peace. If homes will be broken, our children will be wayward. And will have more deaths, more women who say don't stand in the back, but definitely shame and trauma and hate and hurt will make us stand in the back. I'm honored to have been invited, shortly or longly, but you see, you always got to be ready. As an army person, I'm in the army for women. So as long as I have the strength and I'm able to walk and fall upon, I jump and run. We've done that for almost 15, 20 years. We run because we are in the army of women. We are in the army of doing good for our country and addressing the issues of women. I'm honored to have been asked to launch this organization. I'm honored to have been given the platform to share my little voice with you, that hopefully you go out there and become not only champions, but to work along with the LIB SGBV awareness organization. I hereby, today, October 23rd, officially launch organization created with a strong board, with a strong team to be launched in the Republic of Liberia. So it's my book, I'll officially give it to you, then you give it back to me when I say. So I herewith now present to you the document, the program for which we are here, launching the Liberia SGBV awareness movement in the Republic of Liberia, beginning this day in Monserrado County.